To me, that's priority.
Right now, at this moment, there are nearly 200 sex offenders in Ohio who are wanted by police. And with summer right around the corner, police working overtime to find them.
That's right. Investigator Shannon Hauser is getting the chance to see firsthand what deputies in one county are doing to keep your family safe and if sex offender registries really work.
Sheriff's Office.
A relentless effort chasing down convicted sex offenders.
He does not live here.
Making sure they're living at their registered address.
Someone's home.
And that your family's safety isn't in jeopardy.
You know, people who do this, they're predators, and we want to get them off the street.
We got the rare chance to go with the Summit County Sheriff's Office on what they call random verification checks.
That's where he's supposed to be.
It's similar in all counties.
We do spot checks just to verify.
In Summit, there are on average 1,100 registered sex offenders. When convicted of a sex crime and sentenced, offenders must write down their addresses
Doing random verification, make sure you're living here.
for where they live and work. Depending on the level of offense, some offenders have to check in with authorities every 90 days. When they move, they're required to update their address within 3 days. We're doing checks on 5 of them to see if they're living where they should be.
Is Eric Rogers home?
Our first stop is on Lovers Lane in Akron, the home of this man, Eric Rogers. He was convicted of rape and got out of jail in 2010. His victim, an underage girl.
I haven't seen him in months. Months?
A relative tells deputies Rogers doesn't live there anymore, despite this address being listed on his registry. Alarming in itself, but we discovered this isn't the first time this has happened. Court records show Rogers has been charged with failing to register at least twice in his history as a sex offender.
Does he have a room here?
No.
No room here, no nothing.
Okay.
Deputies ask the relative to sign a form stating he hasn't seen Rogers. Later, they'll put a warrant out for his arrest with an escalated felony, since court records show Rogers has done this before.
Is it concerning that there could be some of these guys, more violent offenders, just out there?
Like I said, you know, this is our first stop. This is our first stop, and the guy doesn't live here.
Right now, Detective Bill McKinney is the only deputy assigned full-time to the sex offender unit.
Yeah, 1,100's a lot. 1,100, it's hard for one man.
Budget cuts took his unit from 5 deputies to 1. Since October 2017, he alone has filed nearly 100 warrants for sex offenders.
Trying to do more checks, but not having a big enough staff to do it?
Correct.
A handful of other Northeast Ohio counties also have only 1 full-time deputy assigned to sex offender units. Cuyahoga County has 6 deputies. They oversee more than 2,600 registered sex offenders.
You mind if I step in?
According to the state's online sex offender registry, in Summit County, there are about 20 people listed as non-compliant. That means they didn't register when scheduled to do so, wrote down a fake address, or moved but didn't update the registry.
Tied from the inside.
That's likely the case with our next stop. Brandon Cameron is supposed to live here.
There ain't nobody living here.
The house looks vacant. Cameron was convicted of attempting to rape a girl under 13 years in 2010. Across the street lives Roger Wright and his young daughter.
So I like to keep up on the area, and I looked up that watchdog and he popped up, so I was always cautious.
Deputies will later write up a warrant for Cameron's arrest too. The county has more than a dozen active warrants for sex offenders.
Knowing that he's supposed to be living there, but he's not, how does that make you feel?
A little uncomfortable.
Possibly the largest problem for deputies, tracking down registered sex offenders who are homeless.
We're out here. I got a guy that's registered at the corner of Emerling and Main Street, but he's not here. But I'm just wondering if he's living in one of your apartments.
Absolutely not.
Summit County has more than 100 of them.
We have to go out and post the 4 corners on a telephone pole where they say they're staying. And then with the manpower, it's hard to try to go back and verify those.
During the checks, we found a total of 2 of 5 offenders missing.
When you don't know where they're at, to me, that's priority.
Deputies filed warrants for Cameron and Rogers. At last check, they still haven't been arrested. Summit County deputies tell me they hope to change some of the protocols when it comes to homeless people registering. They hope to have those people come into the office to check in every Friday. We'll let you know if that happens. If you live near a sex offender but you haven't seen them for a while, you're encouraged to call your local sheriff's office. Shannon Hauser, 19 News.